I think Glossgods might have done it again. I don't know how they do it, but they just keep coming out with eyeshadow palettes that just swatch so beautifully and that look amazing on the eyes, especially the shimmers that they do. Just take a look at the swatches. I just have to give them to you immediately because this stuff looks so good. I just cannot wait to get this on my eyes. When they announced this, I was so excited. We just have so many beautiful shades in this new Let's Get Nude eyeshadow palette, and also some shades that kind of surprised me that are even going beyond what I could have imagined. I mean, we have some really nice sparkly impactful multi-chrome shades even, and just some unexpected things like this shade Golden Hour is just the most stunning lilac to green to goldy champagne shade. I'm for sure gonna use that one. We're gonna do a look. I'm gonna be telling you if this is as good as the eyeshadow palette, the first gal on Jupiter that they came out with last year. That was one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2023. We're gonna see if this is the usual great Glossgods formula. So let's get into it. Alright, so I already primed my lids and we're just gonna dive right in. I have to say that this palette does not look as warm, like looking at it like this, as I thought it was gonna be. Like we have some purples in here with some chocolate brown. This brown is pretty neutral. I would say that only Sunburned is more of a warm brown, but even that one isn't like leaning into the orangey realm or like the honey or anything like very yellow realm. So even if you don't love super warm tones, I feel like this is gonna be a palette that you can get away with. So I'm gonna first grab the shade Undressed. We don't have that many options in the mattes, but this is not what it's about. It's about these amazing shimmers. So gonna grab Undressed and start with that in the crease. Like this is just gonna be a base for the shimmers that we are gonna use. And yeah, this is kind of like that sand camel type of shade. That is actually looking really nice. That is going very well. Like that's a really nice brown. I haven't always had the best luck with the mattes that Glossgods has done. Like sometimes they didn't blend as well as I wanted to, but this is looking great. Okay, I'm gonna go into the shade called Sunburned and I'm gonna apply that in the crease as well. Let's see how warm this gets and how much of a difference in depth we can create. Yeah, this is definitely a bit warmer, a bit deeper. Very easy to blend into that lighter shade. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of blending before I go into the shimmers. Just a little along the edge, and that is looking really nice. You know, let's also already do a little bit of this on the lower lash line, because like we don't have that many options. I already know that I'm gonna do this. So a little bit of that lighter shade and a little bit of that slightly deeper one. That is looking really nice, no weirdness. Sometimes when I apply mattes on my lower lash line, things get a little weird looking. Yeah, so far so good. Let's see what we're gonna do. We have some really beautiful multi-chromes, like Sun Kiss Me is kind of like gold, bronze, green, very cool. And then Not So Nude has really like this purpley, shifty situation going on. I really want Golden Hour to be the star of the show for this look. So I think I'm gonna take Truth or Bear and I'm gonna put that on the lid a little bit towards the outer part. This is a little bit of this mauvey bronzy situation and this is stunning, but it's not as shifty as some of the other ones. Like there's still a shift in this, but I feel like this will go really well with Golden Hour. I kind of wish I could do even like more shades. I could show you all the shades on my eyes in one look. That is looking really, really nice. I just want to blend the crease a little. And now I'm gonna take just a little bit of golden hour because it's so flaky. I just want to start with a little and kind of like blend it out. Like, I barely touched that pan and it's already so impactful, so shiny. Like, you need the tiniest bit. Ooh, that is so stunning. I just can't believe how good this looks. Now the yellow, like the yellow gold really comes out, but I feel like if I would combine this more with the purple shades in this palette, like combine it with Not So Nude maybe, it could even become a little bit more lilac-y on the lid. Like, it is really flaky, but you just need to take a little bit and then really like take some time to blend it out. And it's not like a patting motion, it's more of a like wiping on the eye motion. And then you kind of like break apart those like very chunky particles. This is so cool. Like, this is a next level shimmer. That is absolutely stunning. There is a tiny bit of fog, but nothing too crazy. Luckily, I am kind of living for this. I'm kind of loving it. This is exactly what I hoped, what I thought, and what I expected from Glossgods. For the inner corner, I'm just gonna go in the shade Bare It All. I want to see if that is pigmented enough for the inner corner as a matte inner corner. Because we don't really have a super light shimmer. You would think that Golden Hour would be a light shimmer, but it is actually more golden. Like, it's very golden. I wouldn't really place that in the inner corner. But I feel like this is working quite well as an inner corner. That is really nice. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Sun Kiss Me anyway, because it's such a nice looking multi-chrome. And I'm gonna apply that on the lower lash line over here. It's probably not gonna give it like its full moment, because it doesn't have the surface to shift, but wow. Even like this is looking very beautiful. And then I think the last thing I'm gonna do for this look is I'm gonna take this one, the one in Dare to Bare, and I'm gonna put that on my lash line. Just a little liner and a little over here, just a little bit. Just the last bit of blending. But these are blending really nicely, these mattes. Like, no issues. I cannot believe how good this is already looking. Like, that Golden Hour multi-chrome is just so nice. Oh, I love Glossgods shimmer so much. I am almost ready to say that these are my favorite shimmer formula. And they do it at such a good price too. Like, they always get me so excited. It doesn't cost 100 euros for a palette. Of course, it's a little bit more of a basic packaging and we don't have like a huge palette, but we do have 12 shades here and some really nice multi-chromes. Okay, I'm gonna put on some mascara and then we can talk about this palette a little bit more, but I think you already know what I'm getting at. I am not a warm tone girl, but I love this palette so much and it's still getting me very excited for these warm tones. And I cannot wait to do more looks with this palette. I'm just like, there's so much more to be done. Did you see those swatches? There is so much more to be done with this palette. And I also want to do something that's a little bit more cool tone, a little bit more purple. I want to do something with Sun Kiss Me on the lids. I'm just very excited. This eyeshadow palette is getting me very excited. I cannot like wait to use it more. I cannot believe how good this look is. But I feel like the look and the swatches, they speak for themselves. I'm just a huge fan. If you like warm tones, if you like bronzy looks, if you want a new palette for the summer that's really gonna give you the summer vibes, I would say this is probably a good choice. By the way, I'm gonna show you some comparisons very quickly. Alright, so we have new neutrals. I would say that the undertones of this in these kind of mattes, these like crease shades are kind of similar, but these are a little bit more cool. And this palette is a neutral palette that leans kind of green. Like the vibes are neutral green, and a lot of this is more green than you think. But this is also still quite a warm leaning neutral palette, but it is not as bronzy. It is more like this green vibe, also in the multi-chrome shifts. And this one is definitely more purple. Like we have the neutrals, but the shifts and the pops and just the kind of like twist here is more purple. So I feel like you're still gonna get a lot of different looks, and also like the special shades in these palettes are very different, but they both are kind of like this warmish neutral palette. Do keep in mind that this one is not limited edition, the other one is. Let's Get Nude is. I feel like there are some similarities, but because we have this different twist, like they kind of start from the same point but then go in a totally different direction, I feel like they both add a really different thing to a eyeshadow collection. And then of course we have one of my favorites, the First Gal on Jupiter. And this one is much more gray leaning, much more cool toned. This is a neutral palette that has the twist towards the grays. So it's not a super gray palette, but there are some grays in here. There are some grayish shifts in here. And these shades are all very cool leaning, except maybe this one. This is a little bit more green leaning. But like this new palette definitely doesn't look like that. I feel like if it looks like anything, it's a new neutrals, but this is way too green to be the same thing. This is where I'm gonna end the video. You know I'm excited. Let me know if you're gonna pick up the palette, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.